Hello everyone, it's Duckfed07. Today I'm playing my latest Scam Zoo brew, which I used to get a 5-0 trophy recently, and Zoo Scam has really felt incredible in my testing so far. Really happy with the deck, and it feels as good as it was in the Fury days. So you have all these brutal starts like a Grief Scam, like Leyline plus Scion, or have your regular Zoo starts like turn 1 Ragavan, turn 2 Kavu, with some interaction like Thoughtseize, Binding. All of these starts are good enough and keepable. So, but you will more often try or want to have like these perfect starts, which happen quite often and are like very hard to beat, and the deck feels great. Okay, so on the sideboard, just a thing I wanted to try next but didn't have time yet. I want to use 3 Force of Vigors instead of 2 Tear Sunders and 4th Stubborn Denial. I was also thinking about Endurance instead of Leyline of the Void, but keeping a black card count is also kind of important, so there is still something to think about there. Also, like, there is possibility of playing more black cards in the main, like you could potentially play Orcish Bowmaster instead of Tarmogoyf, but Tarmogoyf is like very good in this type of deck where you play 4 Thoughtseize, 4 Grief. So it's a genius follow-up post Grief Scam. Like turn 1 Grief, turn 2 Goyf is like basically unbeatable. Kavu 2 is like very great follow-up, but Goyf especially in this deck can really grow insanely large, and I really recommend playing it. But yeah, of course you could replace like lightning bolts or some number of Goyfs with black cards. Okay, so Molten Collapse is there instead of Terminate. Kind of prefer it slightly at the moment, but it's also a black card that pitches to Grief, which is very important. And that's it, a lot of black cards on the sideboard. This is the change I want to go with further, like remove these 3 cards for 3 Force of Figures and potentially think about Endurance instead of Leyline 2. But yeah. Okay, so that is it. Let's check out the gameplay. So this was match 1. Let's see how it went. Okay, so started off with Leyline plus Scion of Draco. That's like really good. Opponent starts with Ozolith. I played Thoughtseize, take their Agatha Soul Cauldron, of course. Opponent has Ballista, Zabaz, nothing concerning at the moment. Okay, so I start with my Territorial Kavu here. I will play a Scion next turn, and I will make my Kavu like brutally strong. Give him all the abilities with Scion, but I also get the draw this card from Territorial Kavu, so that is why I played Kavu last turn and not Scion immediately. Okay, so here I hold the Not Dead After All. Scion of Draco can block their any creature, and I can use Not Dead After All to bring it back. Opponent only chance of winning here is making really large working Ballista, and they succeed partially, making it 15-15, but they can't use it to kill my creatures. They have to go face. So when I draw, I would like attack anyway and just play Not Dead After All and another blocker in Territorial Kavu. But drawing Leyline Binding was like very sweet, and I was able to play Binding, play my second Kavu, and just pitch cast Grief to see their last card in hand, which was just another land, and put them on 3, which is like lethal in so many ways in game 2. So that is it. Let's check out game 2. Also, let's check out the sideboarding plan. Okay, so obviously like Hiretsugu is great in this match, but I had to mulligan this game 1. this hand, my first hand. Here I trimmed some Ragavan, trimmed some Thoughtseize, trimmed all the Ragavans, trimmed some Tarmogoyf to bring in Hiritsugus, some Tira Sunders, of course, all the artifact enchantment hate I have. And yeah, that's it. But as I said, I would definitely consider in future adding a Force of Vigors to the sideboard, as I said in the beginning. Okay, so here I had a turn 1 Grief scam into turn 2 Kavu. Very, very strong play. Here I make my Kavu 5/5. I do the draw discard with the Kavu ability. I have a Scion plus Goyf next turn. Very, very powerful hand. Here opponent does the blocks, but I have like 14 damage next turn. I think I did a mistake here somewhere. Yeah, I think I did something wrong here. I play my Scion before attacking. I think I knew what was my last card in opponent's hand. That's why I played Scion first, so I can go make sure they don't nature claim my binding. But yeah, I'm not sure. I think I made a mistake here somewhere. Yeah, I should have just binding the ballista. That was the mistake. I should have just binding the ballista. That was like much better, a safer play, and made much more sense this way. But not by not binding the ballista, I put myself into unnecessary problem. I was still ahead. Opponent had to jump here, but yeah, I made like unnecessary problem to me, and the opponent I win anyway. Opponent didn't top deck answers. Yeah, they were just in a too far behind. But yeah, okay, I should have played that one a bit better. Like taking the ballista there was a better option. Okay, so here, match 2, I start with Leyline. This time I don't have Scion, but you don't necessarily always have to have Scion. Sometimes just starting with Leyline and Ragavan is great. And yeah, this is like very strong start, turn 1, Leyline plus Ragavan. This makes my game a lot easier. I go for a turn 2 Kavu. My Kavu is immediately 5/5. Opponent finds Delirium, hits my Kavu unfortunately. So here I go, try to dash the Ragavan. Opponent has another removal, so I just pass the turn. If necessary, I can like fetch basic or just bolt the channeler. Yeah, opponent passes again. And I go for I play Kavu, and I don't necessarily want to binding the Ragavan yet. But after I attack and don't get what I needed, I decided to go for the binding on Ragavan. I definitely don't want them to connect. So yeah, here I play my Ragavan and hold not dead after all if they try to kill my Kavu. So opponent finds another. They have Ragavan, but they don't go for dash. This means like they're holding something. They would go for dash if they don't have counterspell or whatever. I decide to hold cards in my hand. Just go for the damage and hold not dead after all. Try to go for the Goyf. Obviously they're holding a counterspell, so this is not going to go through, but I made them use their last card, and now even if they connect with Ragavan into something good, they still need to take care of this Kavu, which is not easy. Not a lot of cards that can do that, so yeah. That is the game. 1 against my Murktide opponent. It's very hard for Murktide to deal with Leyline of the Guildpact. Okay, so here the sweet thing when you're playing against Murktide. I board in 3 Leyline of the Voids, I board out 1 Guildpact, so I have 6 Leylines. That is like huge chance of getting a Leyline to start with, and whatever you get there, like you're really good. Okay, so I think this play was okay. I didn't have anything else, and I risked here them having a bolt, but my only other option was like not playing anything basically, so I was okay with them bolting the Kavu there. Ragavan is also like a valuable piece here, and yeah, just trying to connect Ragavan. Even like trading with Channeler here. Even like trading with Channeler here is good, but I decide to use my Not Dead After All. Opponent has a Ledger Shredder and hits my Ragavan. That is totally fine. I have second one in hand. We are now both in like top deck mode. I played the Goyf, but I decided not to play the Ragavan right now. I don't want to give them any surveil abilities, so I have Goyf here attacking. Goyf is fine, like a 3-4 here. Obviously I have Leyline of the Void, so it's not as big as it could be if I don't have that. So, but it's like still fine. 3-4 attacker. Opponent goes for subtlety, and yeah, they have a lot of flyers now, which is a problem. They go for 4 here, which means their next attack is lethal if I don't top deck anything, but I do top deck a Scion, which is actually like a great top deck right now, but opponent has counterspell and that seals the game. Let's check out game 3. Okay, so let's comment on the sideboarding. So I took out all the Thoughteize. I bring in the Leyline of the Voids and the Terminate. So this way, like the black card count is still fine. I put in 4 black cards, so it's totally fine. And having like 6 Leylines to start with, like seems really good. I made sure I have like basic planes here to try to fight the Blood Moon if they play it, and I'm attacking with Territorial Kavu here. I have lethal on the field for the next turn. Opponent really has to find something great there, so they go for iteration, digging. I go end turn lightning bolt. This means like just a Tarmogoyf is lethal, so yeah, opponent concedes the game there. That is it. That is like a pretty easy win in match 3. So let's check out game 3. So let's check out match 3. Okay, so match 3. Again, keeping like Leyline, a Scion of Draco. So I bet you already know how powerful this start is. And yeah, here I went for Thoughtseize on turn 1, and this was like a big mistake. And I was playing, I do this a few times and I always regret it. So basically, like, if you can play Ragavan, it's like, it's mostly like correct to play Ragavan in like 90% of cases. If you can play it, just play it. So here I play Ragavan and Tarmogoyf. After I took Violent Outburst, opponent played 2 bindings. Now they have like Force of Negation in hand and Temple Garden, but top deck a Shardless Agent, and this is now really hard situation for me. Also, even after 2 Thoughtseize, my Goyf is still like 3-4, which is like basically unbelievable. And also I didn't fetch 2 black mana, so I only didn't have mana for Not Dead After All here even, so yeah. It didn't go well, and yeah, this was the game. But this was partially my mistake. I could have done this better. Okay, so should have just played the Ragavan on turn 1. That was like much better play, like insanely better play. So let's check out the Rhinos sideboarding plan. Again, all the Thoughtseizes are gone. I have Stubborn Denials in. Also Molten Collapses out, and the Lightning Bolts, basically all the removal. Also trimmed one Leyline Binding, because basically like removal is not that good against them. And like Stubborn Denial is really good, better than Thoughtseize, especially if you're playing second. Thoughtseize can be hurtful. Here I went for the Grief scam. I took Teferi and the Shardless, leaving them with 2 Shardless in hand, but I have a Stubborn Denial here, so I was hoping for them to not get a land for 1 turn, because I had a Stubborn Denial, but I decided to use Stub on their force. They exiled 1 Shardless to deal with it, and they had a second one in hand, but no lands still for the opponent, so I get to win in game 2. And let's check out the game 3. Okay, so in game 3 I had a bunch of stuff here. Yeah, all of this is good. I had multiple options. I was choosing between like leaving Hiretsugu or Unmoored Ego in my hand, but like Unmoored Ego is like really good against them, and Hiretsugu just deals with 2 Rhinos mostly, so I decided to exile the Hiretsugu and try to resolve Unmoored Ego if possible. Okay, but here I was able to attack with Grief. I was holding Stubborn Denial, also like potentially holding Ego, but yeah, I was not able to really do much here. Opponent goes for a Leyline Binding, and yeah, so my opponent went for Binding on my Grief, so I decided to go for, on their draw step, just to get back my Grief, do the discard, instant discard in their draw step, taking their Scion, which felt great, and I kept attacking with the Grief. Also played my Territorial Kavu here, and now I have the Stubborn Denial. I can do the loot with the Kavu. It is like a game over at this point, so that was it. Okay, so a win against Rhinos, and let's check out the match 4. Okay, so I could potentially start with Zagoth Triome, but yeah, like going for Thoughtseize turn 1, Goyf turn 2 is just too good. It doesn't matter that I can't play the Leyline Binding, probably won't need it this early anyway, so I go for the Tarmogoyf here. I could potentially just use the Forest there this turn to play Goyf, and then like play the Bleeding Pool tapped. That I would save some life here, but yeah, instead I decided to just go for Zagoth Triome. Didn't want to play into counterspell there, and yeah, so I decided just to cycle the Zagoth since I took another route and keep attacking with Goyf. I have Kavu, holding Not Dead after all, plus Bolt. I'm on 10, but opponent is not really pressuring me, and yeah, I have a lot of damage there, and pretty bad situation for the opponent. They play Iteration, don't find probably land or not, or removal, so they concede. This was blue-red like Wizards build, utilizing Flame of Feiner with like Tidebinder, Snapcaster. Okay, so I kept like very mediocre hand in game 3, but I think like top decking Not Dead after all is definitely not good, but I think you can definitely keep some of these type of hands. I ended up I think losing this one, but yeah, my draws were not good on top of keeping mediocre start. So yeah, no, I only have 2 bolts in this version and no like tribal flames, so it's not that easy to deal with Magus here for me. But I had Ragavan, I had treasure, I could potentially wait just for 5 mana or another treasure to play the binding on Magus. I decide to use Not Dead After All on my Ragavan, so here my opponent has to trade with Magus if they don't want me to get the treasure, but I get the treasure. Accidentally tap this one. I should have like get the planes with this, but it's fine, it's fine. So I connected with Ragavan, I killed the Magus, binding their hearse, so it was like pretty good situation here. For me, opponent just 1 card in their hand, but they have Flame of Fener, a snap into Flame of Fener, which is like very good, and I was able to Grief scam them after that, taking Preordain and Iteration, leaving them with just Pierce. So that's like potentially they top deck a land and they only have Pierce in hand, but they're attacking for a 7. This was a big attack for them, putting me on a 6 life total, and I need some action, but didn't get it, so it quickly was a game over. Opponent draws another Flame of Fener for the win, so we had to solve this in game 3. Okay, so similar game plan to the Murktide matchup, but I kept some of the Thoughtseizes in. I don't care that much about life total here. They're not really a tempo deck, more of a control. So I also didn't keep all 3 hard removals. I kept 1 Molten Collapse out, and that's it. So also I didn't use the Leyline of the Void in this matchup. They have Snapcaster, of course, and maybe Murktide too, but yeah, it doesn't feel like it's enough. Opponent has Fairy. I don't care about Fairy that much. I'm connecting with Ragavan here. I'm playing my Tarmogoyf. I have 2 Not Dead After Alls. Opponent didn't use the counterspell because I exiled the counterspell with Ragavan, so I could just counter their counter. So they decided not to use it and just pass the turn. This was good for me. I'm attacking with 4/4 here. If opponent tries to go for the Fairy untap, I can use my Leyline Binding. It's cool since they're tapped out, so I have 2 of them also. So I pay the ward here. I still have a treasure token and getting the second one with Ragavan. Opponent is on 8, plays another Fairy, but that doesn't matter much. Okay, so weirdly, like, Thoughtseize was not great. Goyf was not great in this game. He was like just a 2/3 here or 3/4, whatever, but did some job there. Okay, so exile Unholy Heat, which unfortunately I can't use. I don't have a Delirium here to kill the Fairy. Opponent digs, plays the Iteration, goes for the hearse. They can make my Goyf a bit smaller. It's a 4/5 at the moment. I play the Scion of Draco, give my Goyf trample, Ragavan first strike, attack with both. This is like lethal. Attack opponent shrinks my Goyf to 3/4, but that is still like lethal damage, and game over. So that is that is game 3 in my match 4, and let's check out the last one, the trophy match with Scamzoo. Scamzoo trophying again. I recently also did before new edition. I had a trophy with my Scamzoo list, but here it is now, another trophy with the updated version with Leyline. Obviously Leyline plus Scion is sick, and Grief Scam is also like very powerful turn 1 starting hand, so whatever you end up keeping from that, and also like a regular zoo hand with the interaction, Kavu or Ragavan can be really strong. So a lot of ways to win here, a lot of ways to attack the opponent. As you could see here, I started with a turn 1 Grief and opponent immediately conceded. I guess they didn't want me to see their hand. Okay, so here, yeah, great example. I was playing against Tron, and this is like a great example of that zoo style hand you can keep that is like really strong, like Ragavan, either Goyf or Kavu or Scion, backed up with some interaction like removal or stubborn denial or whatever. Like this can be like really powerful. Okay, so opponent cracks expedition map. They go for Oblivion Stone. Unfortunately, I can't prevent them from using the stone. My Goyf is 4-5 now, but a turn too late to use a stubborn denial, so I have to just force them into cracking the Oblivion Stone and then relying on Scion of Draco to finish the job. End of turn, I go cycle the Zagoth. They kill everything with a stone, and yeah, I play large, one large Goyf. He's like 5-6 right now, and I'm holding 2 stubborn denials. Was very confident like with passing the turn with 2 stubborn denials, but opponent top decks Wormcoil Engine, like probably like the best possible top deck for them at the moment. I continue with Grief, taking the Dismember, last card in their hand. So they now have Wormcoil plus Saga. I can potentially deal with Wormcoil. I traded it for Goyf. Then next turn I can potentially just play Scion with another Stubborn Denial, which is not bad. But my opponent top decks a second Wormcoil, which is like a game over. And I concede this one. So let's check out the game 3. Okay, let's also check out the sideboarding plan against Tron. Trimmed 1 Thoughtseize, trimmed Molten Collapses, old removal, 1 Leyline, kept 3 in, 2 Tarmogoyfs, so like just trimmed on some cards that are not great in this matchup, like removal. Removal is not that great even if they play stuff like Wormcoil. I have Leyline, I prefer Leyline Binding for that anyway, so I was able to jam Scion, go for the Grief, take the 1 ring. This means opponent have Oblivion Stone. Yeah, and they have a 5th land to play the stone. Okay, so yeah, let's check out this situation. So opponent has 5 mana, they have to use stone. Of course I'm going to use Not Dead after all. But I can choose between Scion of Draco or Grief, and I decide to go for the Grief because I had a Territorial Kavu to finish the job there. But yeah, my opponent's hand was this. They had like 2 Ancient Stirrings, Oblivion Stone and Karn. I decide to take 2 Ancient Stirrings, leave them with Oblivion Stone and Karn. This means they have to top deck exactly their 3rd Tron piece to be able to play anything, because like they can't do much with either Oblivion Stone or Karn, and they top decked exactly the card they needed. It was the 1 ring. Also top decked the Havarmite with the 1 ring, which was another great top deck there. So at this moment their hand is Oblivion Stone plus Karn. I was able to like loot with Kavu, play another Kavu, present 3 lethal attackers for the next turn. Hard situation for my opponent to deal with. They tried to find a solution like a draw into sphere, into star, but they didn't find what they were looking for, so that was game over, and the trophy for the Scam Zoo. Okay, so this is the only change after the league I would do for now, like going with 3/4 of figures. instead of Tier Sunders and Stubborn Denials. Potentially, like if you rise up the black card count, maybe I would consider using Endurance instead of Leyline, because obviously, like with Not Dead after all, Endurance can be, it's not a great creature to scam, but I have like enough of the green cards, and it's decent with Not Dead after all, so it's a good threat, so it's playable. Okay, so that is it for today. Thank you for watching. A friendly reminder to click like, click subscribe, comment in the video. Tell me, how do you feel about Leyline Zoo scam in comparison to the my initial Zoo scam brews? And do you think that this Zoo scam is stronger than the one in the Fury era? And what, in your opinion, is the best Leyline of the Guildpact deck? Is it Rhinos? Is it Zoo, regular Zoo? Or maybe something else like Keruga or Scam Zoo or whatever? I'm interested to hear those kind of things. At the moment I'm playing Rhinos, my Rhinos list with 5 color one, but don't have as much time as usual to do the content and put stuff on YouTube, so I'll be a little slower with this edition, but we'll get some content eventually, some with delay, but yeah, okay, that's it. Again, thank you for watching. That's it for today, and goodbye.